Pop up. There we go. Hello, Degens. Welcome to Degenerate Takes. I, of course, am the Brofect1 AJ. Joining me, as always, is the man with the numbers, the sportsbook whisperer, college basketball guru, daddy of the diamond. All hail the king of the links, Mr. Noah Engelbretson. Noah, how you doing? Welcome back on the show. Different background, bro. You out there doing something?
Yes, sir. I am live out of a hotel room in good old Eau Claire, Wisconsin. So
Ooh.
I got two beds though.
Hey, there you go, Noah. You need the two beds, right? You got to have them, I feel. Just because, just in case.
Yeah, I figure I'll just alternate every night,
Oh, absolutely. Just keep it, nice and fresh, one of the beds at least at all times.
Well, I mean, they got to wash, both sets of sheets anyway, so I might as well use both of them.
Yeah, absolutely. So in reality, you're actually kind of saving the planet here, not making it go to waste.
Sure.
Look at you, Noah, fighting for the better of the world. Shout out to you, Noah. Hope you're enjoying your time in Wisconsin. But what's happened?
I wish I was closer to Green Bay than I might.
I'd be closer to Green Bay.
Well, I'm saying if I was, I'd pop over for a little live coverage, Packers camp.
Fair enough. That would have been dope. But maybe tomorrow you can go out and do that. But no, the air is
2.5 hour drive to Green Bay. Probably not worth it.
2.5 hours? That's nothing for Oh, dude, you're part owner of the Packers.
I am.
You can just get them to send the jet or the helicopter.
I just have them send the team up here.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's how you do the interviews and everything. They would love that after a hard day of practice, Noah. Shit, that'd be awesome. Aaron Rodgers, come on if you want to. We'd love to have you. But Noah, let's get to it. There's been a lot going on ever since we last signed off from the Degens. And I think we just kind of break it down. PGA, we had the BMW Championship this weekend. Patrick Cantlay coming away with the dub after an exciting day 4 final round. The top 30 have been set and the lineups have been set. Noah, what are your general reactions to Cantlay winning and going into the final weekend?
Well, I mean, Cantlay defending his BMW Championship title. We'll see if he can. So he became the first player in the history of the FedEx Cup playoffs, which has been going on for, I think, 17, 18 years, something like that now. First player to win back-to-back at a single event. Nobody's ever gone, obviously, back-to-back. Not even Tiger Woods has won back-to-back FedEx Cup championships.
Fair.
I think Tiger's got like 4 of them, but he never won back-to-back. So we'll see if Cantlay can do it. Scheffler obviously climbing up the leaderboard with a late surge. I shouldn't say stayed in that number 1 spot, but stayed just a hair ahead of Cantlay. So Scheffler will be the one starting 10 under. Cantlay is going to be 8 under. I think Zalatoris at 7, Schauffele 6 under, and then goes down from there. So I guess looking forward to this next week. It's an interesting one, and because of the format of the championship of the Tour finals, there's only about 4 or 5 golfers I see that have even a realistic chance at winning this.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, because you look at it from the standpoint of Scheffler starting at 10 under. We know what Scheffler can do. And then you got Cantlay starting at 8 under. We know what Cantlay can do. He's playing really good golf lately. Zalatoris a little bit more of a question mark for me just because that back injury. I don't know that he's going to be full strength. We don't even know for sure if he's even going to be competing in this.
Yeah.
And then you got Schauffele at 6 under. So immediately half the field who's starting at, even 1 under or 2 under. Like you can already write off all of those names because I don't see any scenario where any of those guys can beat Scotty Scheffler by 8 or more strokes. Like, they might play better than him, but I don't think they play better than Scheffler. And even if Scheffler has a bad week, they're not beating Patrick Cantlay by 6 to 8 strokes. So,
not at all.
You can cut out 15 or 20 guys immediately. And then just me, it's then a personal, how the golfers have been playing and everything. So I only see like 4, maybe 5 names total that even have a shot at winning this.
Fair enough, Noah. I'm going to reserve mine for our betting show later this week. We will have, obviously.
That's why I didn't name the names.
We will have our betting prediction, best bets, locks, and everything later this week, probably tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow or Wednesday.
I wanted to do.
The beauty of betting this tournament is there's 2 options. You can bet based on who you think is going to win with the strokes that they're given, or you can bet outright for score, and that becomes a lot more interesting. That opens it up a lot more to the bets. So we might have a heavier slate of bets this week because there are 2 different ways you can bet this tournament.
No, and it's the last time I can bet on a real PGA tournament until next season. I'm going balls to the wall on this, dude. I've already been looking at the slate and, all the numbers and everything. I think right now I have about 40 bets I like. And so obviously I'm going to whittle that down to the ones that are absolute locks, because that's what we do here on Degenerate Takes. But obviously you got to follow us on Twitter at Degen Takes to know when that video comes out. So go and do that, or like, share, and subscribe to the channel. But Noah, keeping on the golf, some interesting news coming out of the BMW Championship. Obviously, last week, there was an exclusive players meeting led by Tiger Woods with a very small group of golfers. I believe it was about 30 golfers that were invited to this conversation.
Might have even been less than that.
It might have been. Reports have varied, but regardless of it, everyone was kind of thinking, oh, this is just kind of a rah-rah, don't sign with Live, stay with PGA type thing. And it very well might have been. But the big story coming out of this, Noah, is that Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy have announced this new stadium technology-driven event that will coincide with PGA tours in those cities. And so think the best example I've used so far is think of the Waste Management when it comes here to Arizona. Instead of having, they'd have like the Pro-Am on Wednesday still, and then Tuesday would be the stadium event, probably at State Farm where the Cardinals play, or maybe even Chase Field where the D-backs play. And through some technology advancements, I don't know what it is, but they're going to bring some type of a different golf event to these stadiums. This is going to happen in 2024, usually between January and March. It is slated for now. More details to come. Rory and Tiger have apparently been working on this for the past 2 years or so. I'm excited for it, Noah. This PGA, this might be what it needs, like a nice little shot in the arm, give golfers another way to earn money, and they're going to get some equity in this venture as well. So it's not going to be completely controlled by the PGA. And so it's going to be another avenue for them to make money. It's obviously still not as much as Live contracts, but what do you think, dude? Like, I'm excited about it. I'm always interested to see new ideas that people have to reinvigorate sports. The best thing I can compare it to right now is probably a Top Golf type competition going to each of these stadiums, but obviously a little bit more harder.
So it's like an NFL Pro Bowl skills competition day type of thing, but for golfers, where they're going to just showcase their skills in like an NFL MLB type stadium.
Yeah, I think so. The reports have not been very detailed whatsoever, but
if that's the case, I don't love it, because nobody fucking cares about these all-star weekends and on these skills competitions. Like, people watch them, and then you got the bonuses for the players, and there is some TV money to be made. But like the NFL, the Pro Bowl sucks. Nobody really cares about the Pro Bowl. NHL, it's terrible. NBA, not that many people fucking care about the All-Star game's like usually 170 to 210 in the NBA. It's like stupid as fuck. And the only sport that does it right is the most terrible run sport. And it's the one fucking thing they do right is MLB All-Star Weekend. It's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
But yeah, the rest of the sports, it's all terrible. So forgive me if I don't have a ton of excitement if that's kind of the format they're going for.
So I completely get where you're coming from, Noah. I agree with you. Besides the MLB, All-Star weekends are absolutely trash. The NBA used to have a semi-decent one, and then the dunk contest went to shit. That's a whole other thing. The NBA is an absolute mess right now. But Those sports are so different when it comes to the games. And I think baseball does it really well because it's not a contact sport by any means. You know what I mean? A lot less phantom injuries, a lot less away from the ball injuries, and a lot less contact injuries in baseball. And same thing with golf, non-contact sport that golf is. Yes, injuries obviously do happen and such, but you don't run the same risk as, getting blindsided by a safety up the middle because Kyler Murray throws a bad pass at you at the Pro Bowl. You know what I mean? So I think that they can showcase their skills a little bit more comparatively to the others, but I think it's also going to be a formatting thing. And it's going to be a viral thing. If you think about it, Noah, all the golf clips you see are relatively short, and it's guys either creaming the ball 5,000 yards or people like me going viral, 6.8 million views now on the TikTok, eating absolute shit, trying to Happy Gilmore. Follow us on TikTok at Degenerate Take 69. Go check it out if you haven't already. But that's the type of content that is working right now, especially for our generation and younger. And the PGA is going to try to get on top of that a little bit more because Live Golf is aiming for that younger generation with the smaller competition and everything. I think it's going to be a positive step forward and another way for golfers in the PGA to make money and make another name for themselves on the tour.
Yeah,
it's a hard one. It's completely different than anything else they've done.
I don't know. I mean, you mentioned like framing the ball 1,000 yards, right? But they already have long drive competitions. Like that's already its own thing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be different than that. Obviously, they're going to be in a stadium.
Yeah, Bryson tried to compete in that. I think he made it to like the quarterfinals. So he did like all right. But there are guys out there who are not focused on a precision golf game, any of that, and those are the ones who are participating in these long drive competitions and absolutely killing it because the only thing they focus on is swing speed and club head speed. And like that's already a product that's out there. So I don't know with this. Again, you said we're not exactly clear on what the whole format of this is going to be.
Not even close.
So I'm just going all on my own personal speculation with very limited information. So take this with a grain of salt, but it doesn't sound like something I'd be interested in. Not saying that won't draw eyes and make money.
Jay Monahan will have a press conference on the 23rd ahead of the final round of the FedEx Cup playoffs. And so we'll see if he has anything to say about that. And obviously with everything golf related, we'll keep an eye on the story, and we keep an eye on all the stories because that's what we're hopefully going to get paid one day to do. But Noah, moving on to the sport we all know and love, NFL is in full force. And the one name that can't stay out of the headlines, no matter how hard we try to keep him out of the headlines, is the GOAT of GOATs, Tom Brady. He has been in the news a couple times. We'll start with the boring news. He's back at practice, bro. Apparently he's done doing the Masked Singer, his vacation to the Bermuda Islands or whatever.
I think it was the Masked Dancer. Was it
the Masked Dancer? Jesus Christ, that's even worse.
The little conspiracy theory going around. I know I sent that to you, AJ. Somebody did some digging. The filming dates of the Masked Dancer fit in perfectly with the 2 weeks that Brady took off. Well, and it was, his 1 to 3 weeks. He probably got eliminated early. No surprise, because he either sucks or threw it intentionally, knowing he had to return to camp before the start of the season. But yeah, the speculation was that Brady, in his 40 days of retirement, 38 or 39, whatever the fuck it was, signed up and signed a contract that he couldn't get out of or couldn't break. So then he had to show up regardless. And he also probably signed an NDA as a part of that. So couldn't say anything to anybody about it. And it's funny because people have even asked a couple of his teammates and friends, like, is that something Tom would do? And they're all like, oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, just fueling the fire at this point, but
so the Twitter sleuths, shout out to them if they got it right, that Tom Brady's personal leave of absence for 2 weeks was to be on the Masked Dancer. We'll see. We'll see in a couple months if that comes true or not.
If you see a goat head, I think we know who it is at that point. But whatever it is, it's nice to have Tom Brady back in the fold. But with that comes other Tom Brady news. From the most ridiculous place possible, probably. UFC 278 was this weekend, and they're trying a new thing called the Gronk Cast. having, you know, Gronkowski simulcast with UFC if you don't want to listen to Joe Rogan yell in your ear all night. But had Dana White on as an interview, and Gronk coaxed him into essentially admitting that everything was set, ready to go on Brady and Gronk to go to the Las Vegas Raiders instead of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But it was all foiled by John Gruden, who obviously is no longer with the team due to some emails. Apparently it was like the 11th hour, and Drew Green was like, I don't fucking want him, fucking. And they just kind of went on their merry way, and Tom Brady wins the Super Bowl in Tampa. I feel like we're going to get a lot of these stories, Noah, coming out a little bit more and more. Obviously, this is probably just like a ratings boost or something like that, looking for something noteworthy. It was trending all night. People knew what the Gronk Cast was. But Dana White breaking that news on air, confirming the story. Could you imagine seeing Tom Brady in the black and silver, bro?
My only question is, what would have happened with Derek Carr then?
Ship Matt.
I guess, but that Raiders roster was not set up 2 years ago to win a Super Bowl. So if even if you put Brady and Gronk on that team, they don't win. They won in Tampa Bay because all the pieces were there, and Tom Brady and Gronk were kind of the final two pieces to make that team Super Bowl good.
Oh,
you go on that Raiders team, there's not the weapons. Who the fuck's he going to throw the ball to? He doesn't have Evans and Godwin and Antonio Brown.
He had Renfro.
And who else?
No, that's not the point right now. He's Tom Brady, just like in Tampa.
And the defense was like bottom half of the league instead of top 5. You can't sit here and tell me that the Raiders would have won a Super Bowl just by adding Brady and Gronk. They would have been a fringe playoff team.
Okay. So
the Bucs had enough other pieces that adding Brady and Gronk made them good enough to win a Super Bowl.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing with you there, Noah. I will not sit here, though, and say that getting Tom Brady in that building doesn't automatically not only make you better, but then make you a playoff contender. Because we saw what happened once he signed with Tampa. Everyone and their mom who was ring chasing was trying to get to Tampa and signed to go down there with Tom Brady. The same thing would have happened in Las Vegas. These same exact things. So I would not be worried if I was Tom about not having the weapons. He obviously wasn't, since it's quoted that he was already looking for a house in Vegas. It was all set and done. People would have come. If you build it, people will come, and people would have came to the Death Star in Las Vegas to help Tom Brady win a Super Bowl there. Simple as that, bro. Simple as that.
Not in his first year. Would have never happened in his first year like it did with Tampa.
Whatever. I can't with that. But Noah, that's all the NFL news I really have. Theodo, shout out to him. Hope he gets better. He does have that nasty MCL sprain, it looks like, from the preseason this weekend.
That was a fucking cheap shot. Did you see the block?
Oh, get out of here with that. That was not a cheap shot.
He hit him right in the side of the knee.
No, I have.
That's
watched
not a clean chop block.
That was as clean as it gets. I've watched that play over and over. I've watched all the analysts analyze it and everything. And former players are coming out and saying if he didn't have his right foot planted, he wouldn't be out right now. That is a play that they run all the time. They pull the tight end and have him come over. I mean, it's a simple play. They do it all the time. It was a freak accident. I don't understand why people are asking for this guy's head.
I mean, I didn't think it was intentional by any means. I didn't think it was like particularly malicious. It was just, so I guess maybe I'd take back being a cheap shot. It was just,
it was a bad hit.
Yeah, I think it was probably more incidental that the contact happened to the side of the knee rather than whatever. My opinion, the blocker went too low. He should know better than that, but I don't think there was any malicious intent. So I guess it's not a cheap shot because I don't think he was trying to hurt him or anything like that.
No.
Only other news out of the NFL that I think kind of relevant right now, Panthers.
Yes.
Rookie quarterback Matt Corral out the rest of the season with a Liz Frank injury, which a foot injury that can, it'll be season ending. And that's one that can sometimes be a career ender, which absolutely sucks for a rookie quarterback to have that happen in camp. I'm not a doctor, so I don't know for sure, but I do know Liz Frank sometimes can be an injury that ends people's careers. So hopefully as speedy of a recovery as possible to him. And then also out of the quarterback room from Carolina, Baker Mayfield officially announced the starting quarterback. Not a huge surprise there. I didn't expect Sam Darnold to win that over Baker Mayfield. So Baker will be starting against the Browns week 1.
All I have to say is if Seattle really wants to make their quarterback competition interesting, you get Sam Darnold over there too. So you just have the bottom eaters of the quarterbacks fighting it out all season trying to start. If that does happen,
the worst 3 starting quarterbacks from last year.
Oh, absolutely. If that does happen, though, they need to be investigated for tanking immediately. Simple as that. I mean, getting all 3 of those guys there, you're obviously trying to lose some ball games. But with that being said, no, you got anything else to say to the Degens before we sign off for today?
Well, you did mention Seattle, so and their quarterback situation. I know a lot of people are calling for them to try to get Jimmy Garoppolo. I still hold firm that Seattle won't get Jimmy G unless San Francisco releases him and cuts him. Then Seattle would jump on it in a heartbeat, signing him in free agency. But I don't think San Francisco is going to cut Jimmy G. They're either going to trade him or they're going to keep him. Like it's to me, it's as cut and clear as that. I don't know why people are expecting them to cut him to save the salary cap space. They're not in salary cap trouble. If they can't get trade value back for him, and if they can't get enough trade value to the point where they want him, they're not moving him.
No shot. And I don't think he's going to get moved until, unfortunately, some quarterback goes out, as that does seem to happen every season. So we'll see.
I still think he's going to be a Niner this entire season. And I think he might, if Trey Lance performs bad enough the first 6 or 8 weeks, Jimmy Garoppolo might have the starting job back by week 6 or 8.
I could totally see it. Another story we'll keep our eye on. But yeah, obviously we'll keep an eye on everything. We do have Degenerate bets coming to you this week for the PGA FedEx Cup Finals this weekend. Going to be exciting. We'll have all the best bets for you there. If you haven't already, follow us on everything. Check out our merch. All of that is in our link tree in the description down below. Go ahead and check it out. You can also follow us on Twitter that way too. All the social media, everything you could ever need from a Degenerate is there for you. With that being said, though, I've been the Brofect1 AJ. That's been the Money Train Noah, and we'll see you next time.